Hello and welcome. Now, if you're wondering why I'm dressed in this rather unusual outfit, it's because today we're going to get downright muddy and dirty. That's right. And to do this, Sam, we need a couple of special vehicles. Vehicles which are butch, big and brutal. Vehicles that can go anywhere from the deserts of Africa to the rainforest jungles of Sri Lanka.
Yes, we're talking about cars that would normally look like a bull in a china shop out on the normal roads, but we're talking about cars that will be at home in these treacherous terrains, the kind of terrain that would normally see cars break down.
That's right, Sam. These vehicles really should be called monsters. And today, we're going to take them and you on a ride the likes of which you have never seen before. This is the Exide Master Class Shakedown.
Now, you might remember in the first episode of the Exide Master Class, we started talking about the fundamentals of off-roading. And in that case, we brought along some rather stock SUVs to demonstrate just exactly what the average driver would be able to do.
That's right. But now we want to push the boundaries and take it one step further for those who have already tasted the basics and loved it, but want to explore it a little more.
That's why you see behind us an array of kitted out 4x4s. And Ishraq and I are going to be going back to school once again as we explore the world of off-roading.
Yes, that's right. And to do this, I think we're going to need a little help. So we're going to bring around an expert who's going to first run us about the vehicles and then take us into deep water.
So we've brought with us today someone who needs little introduction to the off-roading community, none other than Sam Chandrasoma from Ironman 4x4.
Sam?
Hi, Ishraq.
Good to have you on the show.
Hi Sam, nice to meet you. Another Sam? Yes, but Sam, just before, for the viewers at home, would you give us a brief introduction about your experience in off-roading?
I came to off-road racing basically in 2006. I'm into recreational off-roading as well as competition off-roading, and also I organize events and I do modifications for 4x4s as well.
All right, Sam, I just want to ask you, you mentioned the word recreational off-roading. And I look at these cars here. They're not cars, they're monsters, you know. They've got big wheels, multiple headlights. You mean to tell me people do this for fun?
Yes,
right.
Ishraq, definitely. Because without these sort of modifications, you can't take a vehicle properly off-roading.
All right, that's exactly what I was getting to. I think that's why we have come to you, the expert on this matter. We're gonna, Sam, I'm just dying to walk around these cars and see the modifications they've done, because I know they're from a different world that I come from, because that's the race car world. But I know that modifications to off-roaders are completely different, but none the less technologically advanced. They are high-tech stuff. So I'm just dying to explore what you've done, Sam, to these cars. All right, so let's start at the first point of contact, which is where the rubber meets the very soft muddy ground, the tires. Now, on normal, ordinary road-going cars, you normally get like 235, 225, 215, which is the width, and then you get a profiling which is maybe going from 50, 60 or 70, and also the size, which is 15 or 16 inches, and bigger cars will have 18 or 19 inch wheels. But when it comes to 4x4, they don't talk about those numbers. They have just one number: 31, 32, 33, 34 or 35. So I'm really curious to find out what this number means. Sam, could you just explain it to me? Why do guys come and say, mine's 35 and you've only got 32? You know, what does that mean?
All right, okay. Well, that all depends on how much of a suspension lift you have given to your vehicle, right, from your stock. Now, this has a 4-inch lift, which has given space for the owner to have 35-inch tires. 35 means your overall height.
Okay, so from the top of the tire to the bottom, or the diameter. That is the 35-inch measurement. All right.
And then 35-inch by 12.5, which is the width, and then of course the rim size. Rim size is 16-inch.
All right.
And so when we're talking about wheels and tires, I know when it comes to wheels for road cars, especially, you talk a lot about weight, weight saving. You go for larger diameter wheels, gives you better traction, better cornering, smaller diameter for drag racing. But what do you look at when it comes to off-road wheels and tires? And I've heard something about bead locks as well.
Yep, well, good question. This actually has bead locks. As you can see, there are small nuts around here, right? And it's a bead that goes around, and which your outer tire edge is sandwiched in between your wheel and
it's like
and
a
the
vice.
bead lock. Yes.
Is it like a vice clip?
Yes, that's that. Yeah, it's like a vice grip. That's to stop from bead jumping off.
Can that happen?
Yeah, it can happen, and when you're running on low pressure.
So when you're running on low pressure, you want to increase the contact patch of the tire, right?
Yeah, of the footprint.
Increase the footprint.
Yeah. So I know that recently, I went on a desert safari and I saw these guys lowering the air pressures a lot to run on the desert. But do we need to do that in Sri Lanka, where our conditions are completely different? We've got mud holes, we've got soft terrain. How does the tire pressures work there?
It's a similar thing even in mud, right? You need to have a better footprint for the tire to grab more, right? So we lower our pressure when we are going into mud or to the off-road terrain. So not only because of the grip, but you come across sharp edges like rocks or even roots.
All right. So you need the tire wall to have a little flexibility.
Yeah, flexibility so that it doesn't pop.
Well, I think we've learned a lot about wheels and tires, and I know there's so much more in the off-road world that we're going to delve into. And let's move on to the next one.
Yep.
Sam, you had a look underneath, and
I had a look underneath.
What did you figure out?
Well, I'm going to take a guess here, okay? This seems a lot taller than the Patrol over there. And, okay, first of all, I've heard so much about lift kits, and you hear things like 2-inch lift, 3-inch lift, 4-inch lift. What is a lift kit?
Well, basically, it lifts, it gives you a better ground clearance, right? And better departure angle, approaching angle, right? All of that with a lift kit, and then of course you get more visibility, and then you get more flex on your tires. Basically, articulation. Right. We call it articulation. So this one has a 6-inch lift. 6? Yeah, it's a 6-inch lift.
So this is 6 inches higher than it would have come out of the factory.
That's exactly right.
Wow.
So this lift. Now I know that this is what you call a ladder chassis, right? So we've got a body and we've got a chassis, and then we've got the sub differentials, because they don't have a subframe, right? So where does the lift point happen exactly?
From the differential up.
From the differential up. So we're actually not raising the body; we're raising the chassis and the body apart from the differential.
That's exactly right.
But you do get body lifts as well, right?
Yeah, you can do body lifts, but body lift doesn't really mean that it's going to do any good.
Yeah, it doesn't give you the clearance, I guess.
What it does is it gives you more room for you to have bigger tires on your wheel arches. That's about the only thing a body lift would give.
But talking about stability, obviously when you go up, you are raising that center of gravity, right?
That's exactly right.
As a driver on the road, the one thing we want on the racetrack is we want that low center of gravity, that planted feeling. How does it change the driving dynamics when you lift a car like this?
Well, the recommended height to drive on the road, if you are running on the road, is 2-inch.
Okay, all right.
There's no recommendation of doing it more than that. If it goes, more than 2-inch, if you are planning on running it on road frequently.
Now, I know we've touched a lot on Nissan Patrols right now, and I know there's that big rivalry between Nissan Patrols and Toyota Land Cruisers, and I'm not going to drag you into that right now.
You can do that.
But there is a Toyota Land Cruiser over there that we did bring today, and I really want to have a look at some of the special features on that. So Sam, shall we go and move over to that?
Yeah, I see.
Cool, thank you.
All right, this is my style. If I was going off-roading, this is what I would pick. The Toyota Land Cruiser, 4 doors, big boot space, and it has this beautiful 1D, 4,500cc, V8 turbocharged, big massive intercooler. And I know We're not talking big horsepower numbers and no 0 to 60 times. But let me tell you, this has as much torque as an R35 GTR. I mean, come on. Who can't love a vehicle like that?
That's true.
All right.
Imagine being able to run on the road as well as off-road, or keeping up with the other vehicles on road.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
exactly. So, Sam, I see a whole lot of upgrades done to this, but it looks nice and clean. It still looks like, a non-competition vehicle. This would be, I would say, would you say that this would be a perfect recreational 4x4 upgrade?
Yes, I would say that. Other than couple of parts missing, but accessories, everything else that you need to do, get from point A to point B and back, is here, included in this.
Yeah.
Let's start with the front. Okay,
All right.
so we've got,
This
yeah.
has a custom-made bumper, right, with extra 2 fog lights on either side, and then we have the recovery D-shackles in front for in case if you get bogged, that you can pull yourself out, right? And it has a winch with a synthetic rope. By the way, winches do come in 2 different types. There's mechanical winch and electrical winch. So this is an electrical winch.
So let's move on to the rest of the auxiliary lights and why you need them. You've got a nice side light here.
That's a side light that to give you
Just a bit extra so that you can see.
And
What
these
are
are
these for?
these gives a bit of a yellowish sort of a visual, so that sometimes white light is not really good on off-roading.
Is that in the mountainous area when there's a bit of fog or something like that?
Yeah, that's exactly right.
All right, okay.
That's exactly right. Not only mountain, but a yellowish color is more visible than the white.
The white
And
side.
it's easier on the eyes, right?
Yes, it's
Especially
easier
when you're
on the
doing
eyes, yes.
long drives as well.
That's right. That's right.
Now, obviously, sometimes we see people running with all the lights on. I'm
true.
sure that's not what you do on road, but
No,
when
definitely.
would you want to use lights up there?
Well, Ishraq, even these lights, the recommendation is that none of these should come on unless your high beams are on.
Right, okay.
Right? You basically use your high beams when you need extra light, when you don't have anyone else driving towards you.
Okay.
Right? So should be your on button, first on button.
All right.
Right? Or the turning on button for these lights.
Before we move on to that side, I see the snorkel here.
I know this is not one of the original snorkels. This is a custom made snorkel. They've increased the diameter of it for it to get more air into the engine.
So just to give you guys an idea, the purpose of the snorkel, right, apart from the fact that it looks really cool on a car, is that when the vehicle gets submerged in water, you don't want to suck all that water through the air cleaner, the air filter, into your engine. So because of that, we've got the air cleaner possibly in some kind of box, and from that the snorkel goes out, and only the air that goes from the top of that can be sucked in. So basically, technically, you could kind of submerge this car
up to about this level.
to about that level.
Yeah.
So that's how deep this car that has a properly fitted snorkel can go in water and come out.
Okay, so we're here at the back of the Land Cruiser, and when we talk about things like roll cages normally when it comes to race cars, they're always on the inside, right? But I've noticed there's a massive cage on the outside of this car.
That's true. Of course, what we have done is we have relocated the spare wheel up here for easy access and to give more clearance underneath. And this is, of course, most of the guys think that this is for the looks, but it has a safety feature as well, which, as you can see, it's a vehicle, a long vehicle, but the hood area is small, and in case if the vehicle topples, the whole weight of the vehicle would come onto the roof, and you need some support so that the cabin does not get crushed.
So if we move to the side here,
Yeah.
okay, I know this truck has a 2-inch lift,
Yeah.
and I guess most people would think, oh, this is like a footrest or a footstep to
Yes.
help you get into the car, but I know this has a lot more than just ease of ingress and egress.
True, Sam. What you said is true. This is a footrest. Once you have a lift, it's easy to. I mean, with the help of the side step, it's easy to get in and out of the vehicle. Not only that, but these are used as rock sliders, which means that if you go into the jungle and if you come across maybe a tree trunk or a rock that might end up damaging your body, it would hit this and slide off.
Right. Yes, because this is very thick gauge steel.
And it's mounted to the chassis.
Its form and functionality and aesthetics as well. Moving from the bottom to the top, I see the roof rack there, Sam.
Yes.
Luggage or safety?
That's exactly right. Luggage, extra luggage, because you have 4 people going. You have only a small cabin at the back to put your stuff.
And I guess probably where you guys go, you're not going to come back in the day, so you might need to take overnight tenting, food, stuff like that.
That's
Talking about accessories that are fitted to the roof, I noticed on the Y60 over there that there's something completely different on the roof of that. Do you want to go and...
Yeah, I think we need to talk about that awning.
All right, let's go. Even though off-roading might be all muddy and hot and sweaty and where you might get a little covered in some grime, it doesn't have to be uncomfortable. And Sam right here is showing us how it can be a little luxurious as well. We've seated in some comfortable chairs under a vehicle which has its own tent.
That's exactly right. So what I'm saying is that, you go through difficult roads and then you come to a beautiful place for the camping for the night, and this is what you want to have: a roof over your head, right? Not having to go through so much to set up your camping setup, right? And what you're seeing here is called a fox awning. It's actually it's 260-degree awning, right, which covers most of your vehicle around, and it takes roughly about 5 minutes to set up. It comes fixed into your roof rack, and of course there are other ones called not the fox awning, but just an awning that pulls out. That's also available in the market to buy.
What this has proven is that, this is so easy, so simple to set up in a few minutes, and I love the way the car as a tool can be used for literally anything.
It's a house on wheels.
It's a house on wheels. You know what they say, right? You can drive a car, you can't drive a house.
Spot on.
You can sleep in a car, you still can't drive a house, right?
Exactly.
But this is what we want to do at the end of any long day. But our day is just about to get started as Sam now teaches us some of the finer points of recreational off-roading.